Hello, welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live. Well done, Angela. Brilliant. Love it. Welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live with myself and Jenny from Paul from Host for Ghosts, Angela from South Coast Ghosts, Luke, one of our investigators at Abnormal Paranormal, and it's a big privilege to have on tonight Jamie from Ghost Dragon Investigation. So welcome aboard.
Yeah,
Great to see you here tonight. You're very welcome. So Julia from Paranation Ghost Hunter event should drop on in a minute. She's having a bit of technical issues, so we should see her at any minute. So if she suddenly appears in the screen, that'll be our Julia from Paranation. So we all had a good week, yeah, everybody?
Yeah. Typical Monday.
Yeah. Monday blues.
Monday blues.
Yeah. So
investigation blues.
Yeah, we can't wait. Coming the weekend, we have Devizes Town Hall coming up with Paranation Ghost Hunting events, so we're all looking forward to that. And then Not the Fort, a couple of weeks' time, which will be really good. We're looking forward to that.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It's our great honour to have Jamie from Ghost Dragon Investigations on with us tonight. They were commenting last week, so hopefully some of the team will come in and join in. So if you have any questions or anything you want to ask Jamie, put it on the screen, Angela, or put it on there so we can read it out, and Jamie can answer your questions. Into the Dark Paranormal, great intro, guys. Hi, welcome. Thank you for tuning in to the Dark. Right, Jamie, welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live. Tell us a bit about Ghost Dragon Investigations. How did you come up with that name?
Well, it sort of started about 6 years ago when I started getting back into paranormal properly. And it's like, I want to put a team together, and a lot of close friends were like, oh, that'd be fantastic, let's get into it. And it was just trying to find sort of the right fit, because you look around at like names of other groups and it was just trying to be different. And it's like, obviously, like people were saying last week, I don't really like the word hunt sort of in terms, so it was like, well, ghost investigations, and I've always been quite a fan of dragons, and it was just like, I'm going to stick with that. Let's go with it. So that's sort of how it came about.
No, like we were saying last week, I think when you say ghost hunt, to me, a hunt is something skilled at the end of it.
It sounds like you're running around with your power pack on trying to get them.
Yeah. Hi, Julia. How are you?
Yeah, hopefully I'm back now.
Hey!
Cool.
I quite like the word hunt, to be fair, because I think that's what you're doing. You're hunting ghosts, aren't you? So I think it's okay. That's my opinion anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. So I just think it's like that. That's just my opinion, but a lot of places are ghost hunts, aren't they? You know?
Yeah, a lot of people put hunt in now. I think it's the appeal of the word, isn't it? Oh, you're going to hunt a ghost, so it sort of draws people in.
Cool. So, anybody got any questions?
I've got a question.
Go for it.
Where's your favourite place then, Jamie? Where's your team's favourite place to investigate?
Oh, we did have a private one in Lyme Regis, which was very active, and it was one of those places where you're going blind, and the spirits which were there gave us all the information to go away and find out. Like, we didn't know nothing about the place. We were just told that someone had seen some activity there. Could you go in and like have a look? So we went there, and literally through all our devices and doing like spirit boards and that, we got just so much information. And when we went away, we literally found the full history of the place just through the spirits telling us.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And it was like we didn't know nothing, and then we just kept getting phrases come up, and then like certain things saying about like children, etc. And then we went away and looked, and this full history come up of the place.
Wow.
That's the place where we probably got the best SB7 Spirit Box voice come through ever. But for some reason, when we recorded it on one of the EVPs, when we got home, it was fully corrupted.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
As usual.
Yeah.
Yeah. How typical, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we managed to get hold of a few like child spirits there, and they wanted to play a game. And in my head straight away, it was just like, would you like to play a game of Marco Polo? And it was like had the glass on the table at the time, and that was answering yes or no's for them, and it said yes. So it's like, right, go and hide, and the glass like shot across the table as if they'd all ran away. So I held the spirit box up and said, right, I'm going to shout Marco as loud as I can, and you call out to let me know to come find you. And within that, I held the spirit box up, and in multiple kids' voices, it said Polo as loud as hell. Like, you wouldn't even expect that to come through like a spirit box because it's radio sort of based.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was just really upsetting that we couldn't get that sort of captured. And one of those frustrating ones.
The way, isn't it? Always.
Yeah.
It's always the time you turn off your voice recorder that you hear something, or you turn your camera off, something goes. You know, it's always that.
That's probably been our favourite because we've been back a few times and we've always managed to interact with the certain same spirit sort of there. So yeah, that's probably been our favourite, but it's hard because when you go different places, you get sort of different experiences with different sort of different sort of spirits and entities there. So, you know, Shepton Mallet is just amazing, but that's a different energy to where we were at Lyme.
Yeah.
The same as No Fort. When you go to No Fort, the energy there is just incredible.
Can't wait. Hey, Julia.
Yeah, it's such a good one.
I know.
Yeah, that should.
Can't wait for that one. I've done a couple of forts, so.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we can't wait for that one. Tell us a bit about your team, Jamie. Who you have on your team?
So we've got about 12 members, sort of. And, you know, on a max, we'll get 10. A few times we've had the full 12, but we've got 2 or 3 skeptics. And the rest are believers. Most of our team are very sort of sensitive to spiritual energy, which is fantastic because you can go in an area and someone will pick up something different to you. So, you know, sort of to try different equipment to sort of get the spirits interacting. And one of our sort of, a skeptic is more of a believer now than he is a skeptic over the years. Because we've had so much stuff happen which is unexplainable. And that's what I love about having skeptics in the team because they just give you that sort of balance you need. Because as you know, when you get knocks and bangs and something happening, you just get, once you start getting pumped up with that energy, sometimes you can overlook it being something simple.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
hi, good evening, Dan Winstanley. Welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live.
I was hoping a few would start popping up in the chat, but they haven't yet.
That's all right.
I'll be having words when we get off.
That power of suggestion, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, once you say that, somebody says, "Oh yeah, I did hear that." You know, we tend to stay a little bit quiet and let the guests say, "Oh, did anybody hear that?" Because it's not about, the way I see it, it's not about you proving it's haunted. It's about the location proving to you it's haunted, isn't it?
It's the actual the energy and the spirits of that place giving you the history and sort of try and tell you what sort of time scale they're from, so you can understand what you're trying to ask them.
Yeah. And what's your go-to piece of equipment, can I ask?
I mean, I love my SB7 spirit box, but I'd have to say one of our favourites has got to be table tipping. Some of the results we've had with the table tipping has been unreal. You know, we've actually at Lyme Regis is when we first started using the tables properly, and we had the table balanced on one leg for like 30-40 seconds, and people were taking their hands away and it was still staying there.
It just defies gravity, doesn't it? When you see it.
And I think another one of our favourites was the tables. Is we helped someone do an event at a place called Langport Arms, and it's like a big dance hall. So we were like, right, if there's spirits around, we when we were hosting, we got 3 tables out. We said, come on, let's have a dance, and just there's one of our members now.
Hi, Daniel. Welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live. I think you might recognise that man up there.
And we had all 3 tables spinning as if it was dancing at once.
Wow, that's good.
Yeah, that was just. I just think tables are brilliant.
Yeah, we have a haunted. Well, Angela has a haunted table. I think Julia's got one as well, because Julia also hosts events, Paranation Ghost Hunting events. So it's Julia that we're with on Saturday, Devizes Town Hall, and then Not the Vault a few weeks later. So
it's always good once you get sort of tables and spirit boards and that, is to try and stick with them, because the more you use them, the more natural energy they get, and the more they react.
Yeah, we've found that with Angela's one.
We've got a certain table that's, for some reason, we don't know where it's gone. It's just suddenly disappeared. But we have one table, and you could have 2 people on it, and you could feel the vibration in the table, and it would just start sliding across the floor, and it's just gone. It's just, we don't know where it's gone. It's disappeared.
Oh.
It's really bizarre.
It will turn up, no doubt, somewhere where you're not expecting it.
That was about like 16 months ago.
Oh, right.
It's just, we just don't know. It was with all the gear. It all came out. It all goes in the same location. And then it gets all checked before we go on our next one, and it's just not there. It's really bizarre.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's walked off. It's walked off, Jen said.
It's probably need to look up. It's probably up there somewhere.
And stuck to the ceiling.
It's just levitating up there still, saying, "You're going to come get me or what?"
How funny. So, do you host events, or do you help out with events, or
basically,
how do you do yours?
Basically, we are a private group. We've done a few privates at places, and we've had some fantastic interactions, and we've helped a few people. But we will help if needed. But we're sort of in the mindset of, we go out, show a location, get as much evidence as possible, and prove to people what we're trying to get everyone to believe, that the paranormal side of things does exist.
Yeah. That's the difficult part, isn't it? Trying to convince people that it actually exists.
Yeah.
You know, they look at you like you're mad, don't they?
Yeah,
really?
well, yeah, a few people do. Especially at work, when I talked about it, they go, "What? You actually go out and try and find a ghost?" Yeah. Are you not scared? It's like, well, sometimes it depends what happens. It's like, what? You'd actually go out and try and find it? It's like, I'll go and stand in a room on my own and try and find it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always brave. A few times we did Wimmering Manor. No, it wasn't. Where was it? It was the old convent, I think, Julie, wasn't it? Where I saw the man in the basement.
Yes.
And we were a bit late, myself and Jen, because we got stuck on the motorway. We arrived late, and Julia and the group had done their sort of lit walk around, and then Julia said to me, "Oh, have a quick run around, just see what you think, where we can go and do what we could do," because there were guests coming that night. So one of the team said, "Oh, go down the basement, because it's quite big down there. There's quite a lot of rooms around the basement." So I said, "Yeah, all right then." So I've gone down there on my own, complete darkness, sort of wandering around. And I thought it was a guest or one of the teammates in the kitchen, which was downstairs. I said, "All right, how you doing?" And it sort of looked to me, and I came out, and one of the girls said, "Who are you talking to?" I said, "Oh, the man that's down here in the kitchen." She went, "There's nobody there. Everybody's upstairs." And then I thought, "Oh, what was I just seeing in that doorway?" And when I came out, I described it to Julia, and she said that's what the lady on the tour said, that they see is the man in the kitchen that has the flat cap and the apron. So sometimes you do sort of, "Yeah, all right, how you doing?" and carry on, and you think
it's a bit crazy when you get like an apparition that comes through with such intensity. You just, I've done it. I'm like, "Yeah, all right," and then you've sort of thought, "Hang on a minute," look back, and I thought, there's no one there. What's going on?
Yeah,
you start questioning yourself.
Yeah, I did it first, and I said, "Oh, there's a man down there,and she went, "There's nobody down there. Everybody's upstairs with Julia." And I'm like,
then you just pause and think, "Hang on."
Yeah, I'm thinking, right, what did I just see then? And I described this person, and then when I went and spoke to Julia, and Julia said, "Yeah, that was the person the lady describes sometimes seen down in the basement." So, but it's that split second of,
yeah,
really, what was that? Was that someone I saw? Or was that just me? Gemma's one of our investigators. Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody is
Gemma.
well. So
Shepton Mallet. Have you all done Shepton Mallet?
we have, we're going back there as well.
So have you been to, I can't remember exactly where it is, but down the bottom of some stairs there's two blackout like locked rooms. They're literally two massive doors, and it's like the tiniest holding cell you could ever sit in.
Yeah, I know where you are.
Yeah. So me and friend were both put in there for a half an hour each, like in each one, and they shut the doors. And my door got opened, and I could see the figure pacing up and down past the door. And my mate in his cell over shouting, going, "Are you outside?" I'm like, "No, mate, I'm just stood in here, and there's something outside." And he went, "Something keeps coming in here, but I'm not sure what." And within that, he got slapped across the face.
No.
He come out with a bright red mark on his cheek.
Oh my god!
But his cheek was like ice cold.
Oh,
That's
impressive.
Yeah,
You
that
take one for the team, wouldn't you? Really?
Well, yeah. But he just said it's something keeps coming in, but the door was shut, and he said, and then it goes again, and then within that he goes, "I think I've just been hit."
What would you say? It's time to leave before it comes in here.
I said, "Do you want to stand in?" And he went, "No."
Nice. You just had an investigation at the weekend, you were saying, before we came on air.
So
do you want to tell us a bit about that?
So we joined up with Everglow Investigations. Like we were well, maybe you guys, we might join you guys for sure. But like, sometimes you use different groups and you're unsure how they are. We'll literally stick with these. They are like a family group. They are fantastic, very helpful. They pretty much just leave us to do what we want now when we go, because they got so used to us. But yeah, we did Merley House on the outskirts of Bournemouth.
All right.
And let's just say what an incredible venue that is.
Is it?
It's really big. It's very spacious. It's used for it's like a wedding venue. It's like a small caravan park there, but they've tried to keep the tradition with it.
Right.
And yeah, it was a night of some interaction to then an intense interaction to sort of mild interaction again. It was one of those nights.
Nice.
But it was a good chance to get the built XLS out, and then we had a new type of it's like a REM pod, but it's got like a tracer wire on it, so it's like more of a sensory touch one.
Oh yeah.
And then we got one of those. Is it called the Aeroflux? It's like a pressure sensor. So we got one of those as well.
Right. And did that work well?
The the REM pod is now called Henri because Dan, who's in the chat, looked in and went, "Looks a bit like a Henry Hoover." So for some reason, instead of calling it Henry, me and one of the team members just started going, "Oh, it's Henri, and it just stuck. Then that's it." So, but we're not sure if he went off or if it was just members going near it, like picking the sensor up. The flux was going off, but the good thing with the flux was going off when our Paratech or like Alice was going off. So it changed colour the moment words were coming out, which was quite interesting.
Yeah. And that Aeroflux, am I right in that's monitoring pressure, isn't it?
So I think it monitors pressure and temperature 26 times a minute.
Oh, okay.
So when there's like a change in pressure or temperature, like small fluxes, it will give like an amber. And if there's like what it classes as a proper event, it just bleeps red.
All right. Yeah.
But we didn't really get any bleep reds or that we noticed. But when bits of equipment were starting to go off, the flux was sort of like going off at the same time, which was quite good.
That's interesting, isn't it? Do you use K2s a lot with your equipment?
We always set up a K2. We use cat balls K2. We got spirit boxes. We always keep like a few dictaphones handy, do some EVP sessions. We always have a static camera in the corner of the room and a mobile camera to try and pick up as much evidence as possible, because we found lately that you pick more up on the cameras than you do the equipment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously we've got the 2 spirit boxes. We don't use the
Yeah.
SB11 because it's just too complicated and it just doesn't
Yeah.
really. I don't know. It's either you've got to be really good to use it, or it's just too chaotic to use.
Yeah, yeah. It's difficult, isn't it? There's so many channels in it to try and get working. What's your take on the ITCs then, like Necrophonic and Echovox and things like that?
I've seen them work quite well, but sometimes I'm a little bit especially with the Necrophonics. I've let's say we did a followers event once, and there was someone who had a Necrophonic one on like 24/7, and it was just talking, and the box was just talking about skinwalkers for about half hour, and it's like, yeah, I'm not quite convinced by that
Yeah,
here, you know.
yeah,
But I think Alice is quite a good program
yeah, yeah.
because we
I use
find
Alice.
because we use Paratech as well, which is
Yeah,
like the Android version. We usually use Alice and Paratech side by side.
right.
So sometimes you can get the same responses through, or we've noticed sometimes that Alice and Paratech will be nigh on doing a conversation for you,
Wow.
which is quite good.
So
So
have
yeah, there
you?
are good apps out there.
Sorry, Dave. Did you say something?
No.
Have you tried the Spirit Talker, the app?
No, I've got the Ghost Tube ones on my phone. Like
Yeah,
the SLS one's not too bad. That's quite good.
Mm.
And the standard like Ghost Box on there is pretty good.
yeah. I think
I'm
Julia
not too
uses
sure.
them.
I've got the Ghost Vox as well. That's we've had a few good responses through that. And then they've got that speak of them, there's
Yeah.
Everglow.
Hi, Everglow Investigations. Welcome to Monday Night Paranormal Live.
And
I think we
they've
have
got
someone on here you might know.
yeah, well, they might know me.
Be
And
worried if
they've
they
got
didn't.
have you seen that? They've got a new app on there called the Ghost Seer.
No, I haven't seen that one.
So it's like the only thing that puts me off on that is you have to have your signal on. So it requires data. So I mean, that's why it just makes me. But what it is so it works off the same thing as the Ghost Box and all that. It's like trying to pick things, but instead of it doing words, it takes a picture
Oh, okay.
instead. So you can like ask it to like come forward and try and push through what you want us to see. So I'm not too sure on that one because it requires like you need leaving the
Data.
internet on. It then questions what's it actually searching for.
Yeah, and that could also affect the K2 as well, can't it?
Well, that's the thing. If you've got anything on that's going to start bleeping any type of signal, anything that
Yeah.
requires electromagnetic fields is just going to go bonkers.
Yeah. So you never know whether you get a true Everglow Investigations. But hi, it's Tanya. Sorry, took me a minute to find
Ah,
you.
it's Tan. All right, Tan.
Welcome, Tanya. You're welcome. Welcome aboard. If you've got any questions for Jamie, I'm sure you might have. Just send them through. I think Julia, you use Ghost Tube, don't you, on your phone?
Not really, only for the SLS.
Yeah. Yeah, the SLS is good.
You've always had
That's,
some good results with that, though.
We use that sometimes.
yeah. Like I say, it's quite a handy handheld one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's your take on EVPs? Do you do them all the time? Do you do them
Try
occasionally?
to, because obviously, if you can get like a proper decent EVP, then unless you can really debunk it, how it's there, it's a voice.
Yeah.
But the best ones we've got, proper good EVPs, is on our static cameras.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the corner of room when we were down Lyme, we had the camera in the corner of room. You can see all the guests and everybody's like doing like a séance in the middle, and in the camera, whispered very loudly, was my name.
Oh,
Wow.
But the next
interesting.
phrase that come out of it wasn't very nice at all because it said, "I'm going to kill them all," but actually whispered it in the same voice.
Bloody hell.
Yeah,
Is that
we know
male
who
or
it was.
female?
It was a male. We know who it was. It's not very nice down there.
Right.
No,
Oh.
I actually there's a like a radio station adjudant to it, and I've been on the radio station about it, and I've actually had to go back there and like actually cleanse the area because the energy got so much it was actually affecting the people at the radio station.
Oh no!
Yeah,
Oh wow!
they sent me a picture of like a table had been placed in front of the radio door, facing the door, flat down,
Wow.
and it was only 2 people in there in the actual radio station.
Bloody hell! So they were panicking then. Everglow investigations, but I don't really like SLS. I'm basic. Other team members love it. Love the SLS.
Oh come
I mean,
on, Tan! You love that XLS I showed you the other day. Don't give me that.
we tend to have an SLS. I don't use it as much as we should do, really. I have obviously a night vision camera that we
Yeah.
put there, or I carry around, or whatever. You know, the other thing I've been trying, I've just made up a laser tripwire.
Oh, nice.
So we'll give that a try at the weekend. Hopefully, it devices, see if we can get that to.
Do you use motion lights?
No,
They're quite handy.
Are they?
Yeah. We've got a few of like the sort of night motion lights, and we tend to put them in doorways facing away from us.
Oh right, yeah.
So that can be quite good when they go off.
I've done it with like doorbells.
Oh yeah.
You know, the doorbells and the light, break the light, ding dong, and it goes off.
Yeah,
But it does make you jump when it goes off because you're not expecting it to go.
No, I know that one. When something goes off, was quite loud.
It does make you jump, doesn't it? So, what would you say is your most terrifying experience you've had so far?
It was probably, I'd say it was when I was younger, when I was very silly and had that bad incident with the spirit board around my friend's house. So yeah, that was probably the scariest because I've never seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
That was quite.
What happened? Can you tell us a bit about that, or not really?
So yeah, I was about, I think I was 18 or 19, and when I was working, I just started talking about like the paranormal again from what I'd seen when I was like a kid.
Yeah.
And my mate was like, "Oh, what about like all these films and that? Maybe we should try, a spirit board." And I was like, "Yeah, okay, let's have a go." So we like custom made one, set candles up, and he had a very old cottage at the time, and we lit it. And his fiance was sat there. She said, "I won't take part, but I'll sit in the room." And within that, we started going, "Come on, then, let's have something through." Didn't know nothing about it. And within that, his cat started running around the cottage, screeching his head off. The room went cold. All the candles just blew out. And then it was as if something grabbed hold of our hands on top of the planchette and wouldn't let them go.
Oh.
And it didn't really spell nothing. It just used numbers. And then we were like, "We've got to stop this because this is getting bad." And within that, it actually took our hands over a candle that relit and burnt my wrist.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. And yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. That put you off for a while then.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Did you? Yeah. It didn't attach itself to you, or anybody had an attachment?
No, we didn't seem to get anything like that. I don't know if because it was a man, just because we sort of made it on the spot. I don't know if it had enough sort of energy to do anything like that. But we literally we went and found out everything to do with like boards, how to like shut them down, how to get rid of them, and it was gone. Never to be seen again.
Thank God.
And now the crazy thing is we have our own custom one that we've made ourselves again.
You're a glutton for punishment, you.
Like I say, once I've been to Shepton and spoke to that lady who knew all about them, how to shut them down, how to start them up, what to look out for, how to keep the board safe and all that, I've been completely comfortable with it ever since.
Yeah.
And our board is actually made from English oak that had been seasoned in a very high energy paranormal area for a good 10-20 years.
Oh wow. Everglow, but you guys have a gorgeous board.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's very nice.
Nice.
It's very nice.
But that's the thing, isn't it? they're good instruments as long as you know how to use them correctly.
Yeah.
You know, they could be
100%.
very dangerous if you don't, can't they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Because I remember seeing a few years ago the pound shop was selling Ouija boards for kids.
Oh, God.
You could go and buy one for £1.
Yeah. Well, you can thank the Ouija brothers and Hasbro for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've got good equipment, aren't they? Really
But yeah, no, Merly is definitely recommended.
nice.
I'll say it started off quiet. We had some interactions, and then we could hear a lot of footsteps. And we were in one room. We said, "Well, if you want us in a specific room, can you give us a sign? Can you bang on something?" And within that, one of our members was stood in the doorway, and it sounded like someone had ran up and did the biggest boot into the door they possibly could. It was
Wow.
so. I'm hoping the statics got that because that was pointing at the door.
Right, nice.
So then we obviously moved to the room where they wanted us to go. We had a little bit of interaction with the spirit box, but one of our members just came over and was in tears. She said, "I've just come over and I feel really upset. I feel really sad," and she was in tears.
Wow.
Yeah.
Everglow, but yes, love Merly. Merly, we definitely going back.
Yeah, I got unfinished business there.
Yeah.
But it was when we went in the basement that it got interesting at Merly.
And what's that? Stately home, or is it?
It's like I think it's. I expect Tanner put up some facts about it in a minute.
Yeah.
In the chat, but I think it's around maybe 17th or 18th century, and I think it was used possibly as I think it's like maybe like boarding schools at one point.
Oh, okay.
And then I think it was derelict for a little bit, and then the military took it over during the war to use it as a HQ, and it's been modified a little bit. But when you go down in the basement, that just feels old, just smells old. It's just, and we just managed to find this room, and all of a sudden you could just, when you get that feeling, right, I need to stay here. There's something here, and it just all kicked off. We had a little bit of movement in the table. We had a little bit on the spirit board. We had the slowest and gentlest glass work I've ever seen. Like it was like moving the glass so slowly, and at one point it was like the cat ball we had inside. It was hovering the cat ball on the edge of the board, but it had it so perfect that the ball wouldn't drop out off the edge.
Wow, that's some energy, isn't it?
I sent Angela the XLS footage of what we got. The one piece we got all night. We didn't get it anywhere else. Just there, of this figure appearing in the pram.
Oh, we might have it here. Look.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
So there you go.
Oh, yeah.
So there's the XLS.
I think I
sitting there.
Yeah.
So the person stood to the left in the yellow, her image was coming up on the XLS as purple. So it couldn't have been her.
No.
But the real good thing about the XLS camera is you can actually rotate a full 360 of the view, so you can see where the figures are pinpointing to.
All right. Yeah.
So if you get like a stick figure like stood on top of the pram, say, you could then rotate the actual screen round and see all the way around it to see if it's picking up anything from behind.
Wow, that's good, isn't it? It's good evidence, that one.
Yeah.
Everglow investigations, but no, it wasn't a school. It was a family home until used during World War II for planning. A lady of the house did open it as a school in an area, open a school in the area. So it had a lot of military links to it then.
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it? Especially being in a pram, whether that's a child or... And was that the only one you got all night?
Yeah, that's the only time the XLS really picked anything of sort of what you could class as a paranormal activity with it. So it's good to see it work like that. But we don't think it was a child spirit in there. We think it was someone who we got in contact with who didn't want us talking to certain spirits of that location, and he was mimicking.
Ah,
Because when you actually look at the stick figure is a lot bigger in the pram than it should be.
yeah,
Because if it was a babe, if it was like maybe a small infant, that should have been a lot smaller inside the pram.
sure.
So we're not too sure, because when we were down there, it got quite intense with like this spirit coming through who didn't want us talking to anyone.
Did you get a sense that the spirit was coming in? The atmosphere change, or how did you
Yeah,
sense
you
something
could
was
tell
going to happen?
once we were like right, if there are any spirits around, feel free to come closer to us, feel safe within our energy. This other spirit doesn't have permission to hold you back. You're here to tell us a story. And you could just, it was like bam, like an ice wall just appeared. And then one of the leaders of Everglow, Helen, was like, I'm moving away from this doorway, she said, because I do not feel comfortable in this doorway anymore.
Wow.
And it was really good down there. So I'm hoping we got some EVPs. Be interesting to see what the cameras we got.
Yeah,
We got some really nice orbs from some of the rooms.
yeah.
So,
What's your take on taking a lot of photos?
there's something we should do more, but we get so engrossed in, like, if we get interaction with the tables and this, that's it. We're just focused, like energy's all there. Just crack on with it. Because we always think, well, we've got a static camera set up, we've got a mobile camera in someone's hand, always panning around. So hopefully you're going to pick something up.
Yeah. What's you saying, Dave?
We do exactly the same. You get engrossed. If you've got activity, say, going on, you forget to take pictures sometimes, don't you? Because of the fact that you so want to capture what's going on.
Yeah, it's like you're thinking, right.
You're in the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, you're like, right, this is going to happen. Something really good could happen in a minute. So if I take my eyes off it, I'm going to miss it.
Yeah.
And that you know, if you get interaction like that in the night, it's like we say with Julia and the Paranation, like if you get one good thing happen that one whole night, it doesn't matter about the rest of the night. It's just that gives you a place to go to, doesn't it?
No,
your thinking
100%.
cap.
Like, we've been to locations and we've started at like 8 o'clock and we've got nothing till about 1:45 in the morning. Then we've had like a 15-minute spell of like some crazy activity, and then it's dead again after that. So you learn to take what you get when it happens.
It does, yeah. And I think, like you say, once you get contact or you start getting things happen, you're so engrossed into it. It's like we were saying, like myself, Angela, and Julia, and that about going back to the basics. You know, Julia takes the divining rods that she's used for 20 odd years, that she knows how to interact, and tend to use a writing planchette. Do you use anything like that on your investigations?
So, as like we were talking about this last week, weren't we? We do a lot of auto scripting because we find, like, in the right hands, that's safe to do, and we've had some incredible. I must take some pictures and post them on our website, because we've had some people go that far under that you can see the pen physically change direction in their hand and start writing.
Wow.
So, but also another way we found, especially with like spirits who are nervous or a lot younger spirits, if you actually put a glass and then use some elastic bands and put it to the side of the glass and put the paper across the table, they interact more with that because they can draw what they want.
Okay, yeah.
So, you can get them in, they can start feeling comfortable with you and getting to draw shapes and whatnot. That's a really good way of communicating.
How about the language difference? You know, we were saying a couple of weeks ago on here about the different dialect. You know, have you tried going back to reading old dialect, or you just carry?
Yeah, so we've got a private location that we've done twice now, and one we filmed. And what's good about this location is it's literally on like the leyland of the Roman road. Roman road passed right through it. You've still got the old Roman bridge sort of in amongst like all like the trees that have overgrown now. So we were there, and like we were always speaking English, and we thought, well, hang on a minute, let's look at the history of this place. Let's go back and try maybe try some Latin and maybe a bit of Spanish. And within that, we had a lot more interaction with the cat balls. Because we could explain to them what the strange objects were on the floor then with a little bit more detail. So yeah, I think a language barrier is a big part of it.
Everglow investigations have put like auto planchettes we use with the glass.
Yeah.
We always get, Julie will tell you, always get some really good shapes, or it always comes out with something, Julie, doesn't it, by the end of the night?
Yeah.
Yeah, we always get the good shapes and things. So, and you look at it at the end of the evening, and it might be a letter or a picture of something. So we're quite like using that. And do you just try a human pendulum?
Yeah, we do pendulums quite a lot.
How do you think that goes?
Yeah, I think if you've got someone who's very open-minded and knows how to relax around the energy, they work really well. But sometimes we've found, especially if you've helped like on events, that people who are going a bit nervous and stay rigid, they tend not to get like the answers you want because they're like trying to hold themselves up because they're too scared of what's happening.
Yeah, makes it a bit difficult then. So if you so if you do that, do you find that relaxes a lot of people around the circle, or do you sort of, it helps interact the people in there?
Yeah, definitely. Like if someone's like, I've got to be careful when I go in pendulums because I tend to zone out quite quickly and have no clue what's going on until I've been pulled out. And I've been known to actually like pendulum on my feet in the middle, which I don't think is good, but there's something still new on that. But yeah, I mean, no fort's a really good one for pendulums. They love them at no fort.
Do they? Nice.
They're quite strong with the pushes. At no fault with pendulum, so I will give you that one, definitely.
Yeah,
but
we can't wait to get there.
Yeah, we've even had like good bits where we've had a pendulum going, and then we've maybe had like some devices on the table. And it's like, could you go over and interact with something else? And we've had a yes in the pendulum. Within that, you've like maybe had the cat ball go off or the K2 flash. So it's another good way of using something basic, but very effective.
Nice. Luke, do you want to ask the question?
Well, you weren't talking to me, was you?
Yeah.
Zoned out then as well.
Do you want to ask Jamie a question, Luke?
I'm trying to think. I know it's hard to think. I'm trying to think, really. I don't know what to say, but yeah. Do you do like outside events, like free locations, like
So we've got an area near us, and it's called Ham Hill, and it's like a national trust land. It's still a working hamstone quarry, but it's had settlements on this land since 46 AD, and they found like so much sort of like relics and artifacts up there. And the Romans went up and conquered it for some reason, but on the top there's like it's quite hilly, but there's actually like this massive bowl on one side when you're stood on top, and that used to be a gladiators arena.
Oh wow.
And we've used the spirit box in there, and we've actually got like the roar of animals through it.
Oh wow.
But it's a strange place. They've got like an old mine shaft up there as well, like buried in the growth. And somewhere in between some of the trees, there's still a hangman's noose.
Wow.
And there's a nice pub up there, does good food, and apparently that's haunted as well.
Got spirits in there as well, is it?
Yeah, plenty of spirits in there.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris. Fon, welcome.
Yeah. All right, Crispy, how you doing, mate?
How did you find out it was a gladiator ring then? Did you have to do a lot of research for that?
Yeah, so luckily they've got quite a lot of boards up there because like it's a very touristy place, and they put boards around and they explain like what they found and what eras are up there. And I think, I'm not sure if that was on one of the boards or if it was on a newer board when we went up again, and it explained that used to be a gladiators arena there.
Oh wow!
But one of the strange things they did is they had quite an open area, and where they were digging hamstone, they uncovered 16 bodies, but they couldn't tell from sort of what era, because I think it's another one of those where they just dig some holes, chuck a bit of lime in there, and that's them done.
Yeah.
So what they did is they got 16 pillars of hamstone and put them in like a sort of, say, Stonehenge circle type thing. And no word of a lie, if you stand in there at night, everything just changes. You just lose all the energy in there. Is really weird. You just lose all sense of where you are or what you're doing. Because we started our investigation in there and we could see a few shadows like running around. There's a white witch up there who runs around as well. Not a live one, a dead one.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. And Chris, who just popped up in the chat, he was joining us later, and we had no clue what direction we were in, where we were to, what time it was, and we were arguing on where he was going to turn up from. That's so we're planning to go back there at some point and do another one, because it's a really interesting place.
Did you use a compass within that circle to see if the compass was affected?
No, we didn't really. I think by the time we sort of were sort of trying bits of equipment, getting a few interactions, started seeing a few shadows move, and I think we just lost all grasp of what we were doing. And then when it was like, oh right, well, Chris is going to turn up in a minute. Oh, he's coming from over there, and that was it. It was just like all of a sudden the energy changed, and you were just like bickering amongst yourselves where he was going to come from, and then just staring into the abyss of where he was going to walk from.
How strange.
Yeah, it was.
So you got are you out this coming weekend? You got another venue?
No, we haven't got a venue for a while now. We're actually going to sit down with Everglow and plan all places we all haven't been and like to go, and then just work out a list. Maybe in the summer we're definitely going to do. You ever heard of Nuns Cross?
No.
So it's like on the outskirts. Is it Exmoor or Dartmoor? There's like this house, and they call it Nuns Cross, and it's an old farmhouse. And I think the military use it every now and then as like a little HQ. But you can stay there for about 70 quid.
All right.
It's got no windows in it. It's got a load of bunk beds with no mattresses on, but that's all good. But apparently, when the farmers were there, they had a lot of cattle, and apparently the cattle got all like they were just running around. They were acting very strange up there. So the farmer's wife went, "Oh, I'll go out and see if there's someone out there," and she never came back.
Oh wow!
So they had a mass search and couldn't find her. And one day, apparently, he went up and he was sat sobbing by this lake nearby, and all of a sudden she appeared out of the water and her body was up on the shore.
Right.
Yeah, it's really weird, but it's something to do with like there used to be a monastery nearby, and the monks used to take that road all the time because there's like little like hamstone markers to like show them the way or something.
Oh, okay, right.
So that sounds like an eerie one in the middle of nowhere.
Monks weren't as holy as people thought.
Yeah, monks are not as holy as people thought, Jen saying.
So, but just it's very strange one, that like the story of the farmer and his wife, and she disappeared and then just appeared out the lake and just on the shore. It's just like that's just something not right with that.
Yeah, and that's sort of thing you want to see in it when you're there. Suddenly appear out of the water.
We were going to do it last year, but we didn't get a chance to. But we're definitely going to book it up because it's so cheap.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it would be when it's just like 4 walls and a roof.
We like cheap accommodation.
Yeah, and apparently the toilet's outside, and you got to chuck sawdust down it. So that's the nail biter for me. I'm happy with that.
Oh, nice. No curries that night then. I suppose you could do, couldn't you?
But yeah, that's an interesting one. I haven't done Shire Hall yet. I want to do that. That's a good location. I mean,
so how far do you travel then, Jamie?
It depends. I mean, and if we organise it well, I'm happy to travel anywhere really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I keep looking at 30 East Drive, but some things say I see a lot of things say it's good, and then I see a lot of things say that it's mediocre.
Yeah, I've heard that. It's a bit hit and miss, isn't it? It's a lot of money to hire it as well, isn't it?
I haven't seen, to be honest, so I wouldn't know.
I think it's quite expensive to hire, but a lot of people say it's a very hit and miss type of thing.
I suppose the only thing with that is it's the same anywhere you go. You either the spirits want to talk to you or they don't.
Yeah. But
I
some
mean,
places could be burnt out though, can't they?
Yeah, I mean, I've been to Shepton Mallet and it's been absolutely crazy. And then I've been other times and you just get the odd sort of 10 minutes and that's it. You know, like good 6-7 hours, and you've had half an hour's like evidence.
Yeah. We like Shepton Mallet. We've always had a good time there with Paranation.
Dorchester Prison's good as well.
Is it?
Yeah, especially in the kitchen. There's some, I don't know why it was, but there's a lot of spirits in the kitchen.
Not in the bar area then.
No, I don't know what it was. We went in there and you could just feel there was a really good sort of amount of energy in there. And to be fair to this chap who was running, like who was part of the team there, he had 4 cat balls in a line on the floor. And he's very vocal with the spirits, I have to say. He was like full on in their face all the time. And we got them to do it. They started one end of the cat balls and lit each one up individually. And then he said, "Come on, then walk back across them the other way when they've stopped." And it did it. It lit up the other way as well. So.
And have you done any ghost hunting in Portsmouth and the surrounding area around there with the Fort Widley and?
No, this things the team's actually started talking about now is like going a bit further afield, because apparently there's a few good places around Bournemouth, Portsmouth, Southampton.
We go onto the Paranation website, which is obviously Julia's the founder, and Julia does a lot of the events around that area, in the forts, the ships, and Hovercraft Museum, and all that. So it's well worth going on there and having a look and contacting her.
We were very quiet last year because I had to work in London for 11 months. So it's a kind of, by the time I worked all week, got home to see the family, and it was family time then. That was priority.
Yeah.
So
That's the trouble. It can overtake your life, can't it? It's paranormal stuff.
So so this year is going to be a big push. I've almost got the YouTube site up so I can put the videos on, because a lot of people said, even though the videos are on our Facebook page, it's a lot easier to watch and review the videos on YouTube. So
you're working on that at the moment?
Yeah, or I've probably every time I've been on an event, someone's come up and goes, "You got a YouTube page? Oh, it'd be so much better if it." Yeah, all right. Well, I've been told now.
I get the hint. Yeah, get the hint.
Yeah, but
any questions, Angela?
I've got one. Is there anywhere you've been where you've expected to find things, but it's been absolutely nothing at all, and it's been like a complete waste of time?
Air Rifle Museum, Salisbury.
All right.
Yeah, unfortunately, like
I've been there a lot. We've had stuff there.
Yeah, well, we went with Everglow again, and they did have the museum in Dorchester, but it all went a bit funny, so we had to quickly go to the air rifle. But when we got there, they'd literally emptied out the display, so there was nothing in the display. So I think it may have just upset the balance of the energy.
Was that recently? Because they're doing it up at the moment.
It was the end of last year.
Yeah, I think they were getting ready to renovate it. I think so maybe that's
because we know what spirits are like when you start upsetting what they're used to. They don't like it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it
was Gordo in there, and he was just amazing. But we haven't been back for a while. I don't know why.
Yeah. No, we've been told there's been good things, but then it's one of those things again, and like we say, you could go somewhere and it can be brilliant or it cannot.
Maybe they're renovating. They were getting ready to renovate it.
Yeah. Well, it might be quite active when they finish then.
There might be a few upset spirits there. No, it's changing the surroundings. So
yeah,
be interesting, wasn't it?
They tend not to like that.
No,
there you go.
Well, Everglow put October. We went the week renovations had started. That's probably why it's a bit quiet. And they're all upset, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's all been moved around. And
I will say that one of our Daniel Coles, who was on now, I don't know if he's still in the chat. He's the sort of skeptic, he's coming around a little bit now. He's starting to have his arm twist on the paranormal. It's the first time, when I was going back through the footage, that I've seen him sat down on the floor and something's affecting him. He was not himself.
Oh,
But there's at one point you can see instead of a nice round orb, it was sort of like a sort of misty orb, and it's sort of above his head, and it's as if he's turned up and he's talking to it. But he can't really remember much about it.
Strange.
That's good for a skeptic, isn't it?
Yeah, that was down where the display cabinets were emptied. So I don't know if maybe the spirit was just upset and trying to tell him, what's going on here? Where's all my stuff gone?
Yeah. I've got nothing to hold on to. What have you done with it?
Yeah, where's my energy gone?
So, what's your next up and coming investigation? Are you taking guests, or is it just a team thing?
Well, I'm in talks with a location we've done before when we helped someone out, because I'm hoping to do 2 charity events. One for my my girls' sort of majorette team, because they need a bit of funding because they've lost a bit. And my place of work has got quite a lot of people who work for it. They're nagging me constantly because they want to do one, but they're too scared to do it with anyone else, so they got to do it through me. So I'm hoping to try and get these 2 done. That's on the agenda, and then it's maybe work on a lot more privates. Just go off as the team. Like I say, Ham Hill will definitely be on the agenda when it warms up a bit. There's a location we've done not far from here called Borough Mump. We're going to try and do that. That's a bizarre but interesting one. So it's a massive mound in Somerset, and they put a church on top of it.
Oh wow!
But it's it's really strange. It's just there was a medieval church, and then it got knocked down, and then they built a sturdy. But it's just on top of this massive mound.
Is it a burial mound? Do you know it's a burial mound that they built the church on top of?
No, it was just a big mound of dirt apparently that they built up and put a church on it. So you sort of question yourself, why would you put a church that high?
Yeah.
Because on a clear day you could probably see Glastonbury Tor, so it would be in line with Glastonbury Tor. So is it some kind of smoke screens for signalling?
Yeah, or some sort of marker.
Yeah, it's just. But when you go up there, it just says about one of the kings that sort of had it renovated, and then it didn't really get used.
You must have a lot of Saxon burial grounds around your area, though, hasn't you?
Oh yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of Roman forts as well.
Yeah.
Right. And you
plan to go there. We've planned to go there because we live in Western Supermare, see, so it's quite close for us.
Not very far.
So if when the weather's nicer, we're looking to go to Paranormal, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, like I say, you have to take our contacts, and then we'll try and meet up with you there.
Yeah, definitely.
Sarah, hi Sarah, good evening, welcome. St Catherine's Church by any chance, she's saying?
I can't remember what it was exactly called now, because it was just by chance we suddenly saw, I was working nearby and I saw this ruin there, and I'm like, right, let's Google map this. And then it just come up and I was like, right, we're going there. Let's go find out.
Everglow put sounds similar to Knowlton Church.
Oh.
So that could be another location for you, another church.
there's like there's a small village not far from there called Long Sutton, and apparently there was a lot of bloody battles along the plains of that and across the river. So that'd be an interesting one to
have you done any battlefields at all?
No, not yet.
No.
Sort of, it's the weather as well, isn't it? It's finding the perfect weather to get out and like do these ones.
That's the thing, isn't it? We have a regular venue we go to. It's obviously free. It's an abbey, and you know when you're standing right out in the cold, and you know it don't take long before you start to wilt. When it's warmer and the days are longer, it's nice just to get out there, and you can stay there for quite a while. But
it's also the effect on the equipment as well. You know, when the weather's not going for you, it can really affect what you're trying to use and what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it affects the energy in different ways, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if it's warm, there's a lot more energy, isn't there? You know, it's like people saying, "I'll go and do an investigation when there's a storm," because the energy within the atmosphere is so high. You know, the paranormal happens in that energy because of the static in the atmosphere. But I don't know whether I'd want to be in the middle of a field or a abbey doing that in the middle of a thunderstorm.
Holding on your spirit box when there's a bit of lightning coming down.
You just imagine, can't you? Trying to run for cover. Oh, you know it'll all go wrong. Trip over, drop your equipment, all sorts of things.
We have done that from time to time when we've had energy coming through, like maybe the spirit board or like doing a bit of glass work, is to actually put a glass underneath the table full of water.
Okay.
Because the water acts as a conduit for the energy, and sometimes it's really like brought the spirits through, give them a little bit more of a sort of a jolt.
That's an idea. I never thought of that one. And that works, does it? It's quite good.
There's a few times, and it's like you could tell just by feeling like maybe on the glass that the glass is sped up and it's a bit more sharp. It's moving cleaner. So yeah.
Right.
Because I've seen people use these EMP pumps to try and like.
That's right. Yeah, I've seen them.
But I think if you're going to turn one of them on, I think that's the only thing you want in the room at the time, wasn't it? Because I wouldn't want all my equipment in there if that was going on.
No, that won't do them a lot of good, will it? Really?
No.
We've got that pumping out all that stuff. I'm not sure. I don't know about them, to be honest.
No, I'm not too sure either, because I'm thinking, well, are you just going to agitate the thing or the area, or is it just going to do nothing? It's just some irritating electromagnetic thing blast around the area.
Yeah. It's difficult, isn't it, to know? But we try and stay with the basics if we can, because it's sometimes it's the best evidence, it's the basic evidence, isn't it?
Proven methods.
Yeah. That's the difference, isn't it? It's nice having all this equipment, isn't it? All this electronics everywhere, and there's got lights flashing and this going, the red pod's being touched, and and you're trying to explain to touch this red light and touch this silver aerial, and then you sit back and think, do they actually know what an aerial is?
Yeah.
Do they know? Because I have one of them, them MeWe robots, interactive robots.
Oh yeah.
I have one of them. That's been really good.
That's
really, you get interaction with it. The children come. Obviously, as you approach it, the robot backs off. Nice. And it backs off. And if they walk away, it follows. So we've used it a few times, and it's worked very well. It's just like. And do you use trigger objects? If you tried,
I was just about to say that. That was straight on my mind. How effective do you find trigger objects?
I can read
that link. We do. If we've like maybe done an investigation of the area before, and we've got a little bit of information, we try to take what we think, right, well, this might be a good trigger object for here. I mean, the one thing we have got is our camera tripods are actually in an old RAF military sack.
All right.
And it's got it was one used like in the war. It's got the guy's name on it, his badge number, what regiment he was in, everything.
Oh wow.
And like obviously if there's military around, that's a really big trigger object.
They recognise it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we've had that before, because we've had it come through on some of the devices, like saying RAF and then part of the number. So they obviously recognise what it means.
Gemma's put Ghost Dragon, excuse me, I joined a bit later. Are you established big group or just a small independent little group? And how did you form and how long have you been doing it for?
So we are an independent group, but we have been known to help out with events for people because it's what it's all about in this business. It's like looking after each other.
Yeah.
We've been going about, well, I started it 6 years, but I'd say 5 years we've been going strong with about 10 members. And we're just out to find as much evidence as possible and like share it with the world and see what people think.
Nice. I think that's what everybody does, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sarah's put, does anyone have a ghost box as would love to hear them talk in real time so you can have a chat there and then? I don't know. It would be nice if you could get a response like that, wouldn't it?
Like I say, it's hard with ghost boxes because obviously a lot of them are modified radios. So basically, they're sweeping radio stations consistently, and the slower you have the setting on your spirit box, the more of the actual radio feed you'll get. So it is quite difficult, but the responses I'd say you'd be looking for from a spirit box is more through the white noise.
Yeah.
That's where we tend to find some of our better answers is when they're pushing through the white noise, so you can actually hear like a proper voice through it rather than like a radio word per se.
Yeah.
That's the only thing with, like, I'd say with spirit boxes is there is a bit of unpredictability.
Yeah.
You probably better maybe try them like with an Alice or something, like a little bit of OTC stuff, because if you can get a spirit to solely interact with you, you might get a better response through that.
Yeah. Yeah. I've used an Alice box in Shepton Mallet before. Had some good results there with the Alice box. So it's quite when you sort of get sentences coming through on the Alice box and not individual words, you really know you've hooked onto something because they're known for individual words and not conversations, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the second time we went to Shepton Mallet, we had one of my good friend come from America. He was overseeing family, and he come in, and he was a massive trigger object. A lot of, because obviously, sort of during the war, they obviously built an extra section of Shepton Mallet, even though it wasn't a very nice one because it was more for prosecution and hanging.
Yeah.
But a lot of American soldiers could relate to him, and we had tons following around. And actually, in the chapel, he was trying to play the piano up there, and we had the spirit box on, and he's there going, "How do I sound?" And all of a sudden, straight through, went, "Oh, it's bloody terrible." That was a proper response through the box we got.
Nice.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
But sometimes that's all they want, isn't it? A bit of music or a bit of something, and then they'll pipe up, won't they? Something they recognise, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
definitely an old American tune or whatever, and then they come.
I can't remember what he was playing now, but yeah, it was just like they were not impressed.
It wasn't that good. Nice. No. Any other questions, Andrew, come through? I thought I saw one earlier from something about Michelin Priory.
Yeah, that one.
Into the Dark, that's it. Just done my first organised event on Saturday at Michelin Priory. Absolutely amazing with plenty going on. Have you been to that one, Jamie?
No, I haven't. Like I say, a lot of our stuff is, as we sort of done it, is we done Shepton Mallets, Dorchester's, Noths. Then we had our privates in Lyme Regis. We had a couple of the private houses to do, and it's sort of we stayed in those areas to start with, just sort of everyone trying to keep the team together and just like focus on that. Obviously, we had Ham Hill, we've done that, Barrowmont, but hopefully we're going to broaden the horizons a little bit more.
Nice. So, do you want to plug your website and your Facebook page and your YouTube channel you're building?
The YouTube will hopefully be announced on the webpage, but at the moment it's solely Facebook, Ghost Dragon Investigations, We've got plenty of videos on there of past ones. There's a really good one of the private farmhouse we did, and that's worth checking out because that's where we got an apparition walking through the mirror, like a path across the mirror.
Right.
That's like unexplainable. We've been back and we've stood in the same spot and had people walking down the hallways, and you just cannot pick anybody up. And bearing in mind, we do everything in the dark. We have all night vision on. We don't have any lights on. It's only the IR lights, which they radiate a small bit of sort of shadowing, but
Yeah.
the camera's not even pointing directly at this mirror, and you can see this large figure walk past it one way and then walks past again.
Wow. Unbelievable.
That's really good. Yeah, that's just couldn't believe it when I come across it. I was just sat there and I'm like, did that just happen?
If you ever want a collaboration and you're coming up to the Portsmouth and that area, contact Julia at Paranation. Enjoy coming along and do a lot of thoughts and stuff on there. So it's always worth contacting Julia. She's always got something going on in that area, Portsmouth and all around. So
I think most of us are following each other now. So
yes,
we'll definitely get some collaborations on for sure.
Yes, definitely. We'd like that. Be good.
Yeah.
Anyway, is there any other questions? Anybody?
I was just going to ask if there's anywhere you could investigate that you haven't investigated yet, like a wish list. What would be your number one?
Oh, number one. If they're on my to dream list, it would be the Atmaville Horror House.
Oh wow!
In America, or like one of the old asylums in America for sure.
Yeah, Waverly Hills. That's where I want to go.
Just something with you've seen, there's really good history there. It's going to scare the living crap out of you.
That's what we do it for, isn't it?
As investigators, that's what we love.
Yeah, I've had a few jump scares. I've definitely seen plenty of apparitions that have just freaked me out. Dorset Prison was the worst one. That was in the kitchen again. There was 3 of us stood there, and no word of a lie, this black figure comes between me and my friend and goes, "What are you doing?" But as we turn around, it's just stood behind us, and then it walks off into this doorway.
Wow.
And it's like, "You saw that, right?" And he's like, "Mate, I definitely saw that." And he's like, "You've got the camera on you." And he said, "Go find it." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" So I'm there like this, sidestepping towards this door and just slowly leaning around the corner in case it stood there.
There were things we do for the paranormal, eh? Anyway, there's no other questions, Angela?
No.
No? Okay. So it only remains me, we've done an hour and 13 or just over an hour. So it only remains me to say thank you, Jamie, so much for coming in. Been a great pleasure and interesting listening to your stories. Obviously, we're all following each other now, so we can all keep up on each other's investigations. Saturday, we're at Devizes Town Hall with Paranation.
Nice.
I think that's all sold out, Julia, now, is it?
I think I've just sold some more tickets to it, so nearly, yeah.
Nice. What do you find is a good sort of number you like to take with you on your events? Is it dependent on location, or do you have sort of a set number?
It's all to do with the size of the location and the count that the venue gives us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So only remains me to say thank you, Jamie, so much for coming in. Just stay on, because once it goes off, it'll take you off the screen, and then we'll come back, and we won't obviously be live then, and we can have just a quick chat after. So only remains me to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Really, really interesting having Jamie on from Ghost Dragon Investigations and some of his team. So it's brilliant. Thank you for doing that and spending the time with us. So from me, myself and Jenny, Host for Ghost, Angela, South Coast Ghost, Abnormal Paranormal, Julia for Paranation Ghost Hunting Events, and Luke, one of our investigators. We say have a safe week and have a great investigation. Next Monday, we'll be telling you about our Devizes Town Hall investigation. So stay tuned. We'll see you next Monday, and please tune in, and we'll see you. Take care. Bye, everybody.